Okay, and we are live now, hanging out. Sunspot Thirsty Thursday, just coming at you a little bit later as we work through, the fun of technical difficulties. But no, just hoping that everybody's having a good day. If we haven't met before, or if we're like recent Facebook friends, then my name is Mike. I sing in a band called Sunspot in addition to whatever you Facebook friended me for. And then if you guys want to introduce yourselves, I'm going to start a watch party on my page.
Oh, man. It's going to get crazy.
Yes, it is going to get crazy when I start the watch party. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
Ben, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I'm Ben from Sunspot. In case you didn't know that. Guitar, singing background, keyboards, and other things.
All right.
And I'm Wendy from Sunspot.
Okay.
I play the drums and violin, and I sing too.
That sounds good. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this is like our fourth. This is maybe a fourth Thursday, I think.
It's a regular thing now, officially.
Yeah. So
and that means it's time to celebrate.
That does mean it's time to celebrate. So hanging out on Thursday is kind of what we do now.
My Sunspot koozie.
Now, Wendy, you were saying that you have not had like a drink in 10 days, right?
Well, I've had water.
Okay.
I haven't had any alcohol in 10 days, over 10 days.
All right. Well, that's
what
I mean.
The first beverage.
So we're giving you the reverse chip, I think is what I mean. So
You're stealing my chip away from me?
Yeah, like an alcoholic would get a chip today, so you get the reverse chip today. Lisa says, hey.
I'm off the wagon.
Lisa's also a Patreon, so this is our first toast for Thursday.
Lisa!
To Lisa Van Buskirk. Hey to you. 1, 2, 3, oofda.
Oofda. Here it is, the first sip.
And Scott also cheered us with that as well.
Hey, all right.
Oh, Anthony says, my second week in a row watching y'all from the front of the fire pit. Nice.
That sounds lovely. I was just thinking today on my run, I was smelling all the fire pits all around, and I was thinking, man, that'd be really nice to have a fire pit.
Yeah, I agree. And so, Anthony, I hope you're enjoying yourself and having a good fire pit out there. Let's see. Oh, Dan Concatelli. It's been 10 minutes for me. All right, Dan. Glad you're
job,
way
Dan.
off. Dan, you're way off the wagon.
Proud of you.
Tim says cheers. Cheers to you, Tim.
Cheers, Tim.
Tim.
Mark Johnson's our second Patreon cheers of the night. So, Mark, this one goes out to you.
Hey, Mark.
One,
He's
two.
been to almost every one of these too.
1, 2, 3, oofda, Mark.
Oofda.
Lisa joined in.
Let me shout out to Timmy for a second. So, Timmy, my daughter is now playing Mario Kart, and I just want you to know that your me is still in our we. So, we see your face all the time, Timmy.
Right on.
That's funny.
Now, if you were joining on the watch party on like my page or something like that, number one, hi to everybody in the watch party. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, party.
But I'll be checking for comments in there every couple minutes, but we're in the Sunspot page right now at facebook.com/sunspotmusic. And so I see
if you want a fast response.
If you want a faster response, it'll watch from that page. Tim's drinking out of his Sunspot Slingshot Effect pint glass tonight, 2011.
Aww.
Now, the thing about that one, Tim, we were talking about the pint glasses on Tuesday, I believe, because my Sunspot Slingshot Effect pint glass just looks like a bunch of lines on glass right now. So it is very unimpressive. So it was, so that's cool. I hope it still looks good. I hope it still looks good for you. Abigail Wachowski says hi. Hi, Abigail. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday night. Make it so. Falona Burger Man says engage. That sounds good to me. Make it so. Yes, that's exactly right. Now make it so. I assume you've watched all of Picard. So interesting to see what you think about it. Jimmy from Antigo says cheers. Cheers, Jimmy. Hope you and Melody are having a great day.
Cheers.
Tanya, good evening. Good evening to you, Tanya. And so, just wanted to make sure we said hi, everybody. And, well, we should probably kick things off with a song. What do you say? Actually, hold on. Before we jump into the song, Joe, Cactus Joe says, hi. And,
hey, Cactus Joe.
As a Patreon, Cactus Joe gets a
Oofta.
cheers. An oofta. He's drinking smoothies out of his Sunspot pint glass every AM.
Oh, that's awesome.
Staying
what a great
healthy.
habit.
Staying healthy. What a great
Nice.
habit. 1, 2, 3.
Keep your immune system boosted.
Oofta to Joe.
Cheers. Cheerio.
Yeah, in Vino Veritas wine glass. Nice one, Sharon. I had that one out a
that's
couple days
awesome.
ago. Yep.
All right.
I wonder what happened to mine. I think I might have broken it.
I totally broke mine. Oh, wait, and she's drinking homemade wine out of her in Vino Veritas wine glass. I feel like, but we shouldn't be a band. We should just be people that make, like, glasses. Because the way everybody's just drinking from glasses, they're like, I haven't listened to a Sunspot song in 10 years, but I still drink from that goddamn pint glass. No, we appreciate it. Okay, so why don't we kick in to a track, and let's see what we want to play today. I think we should start with, something that is off our album, Weirdest Hits.
Ooh.
And so this one, we bring on the acoustic show, but we don't often break it on the electric show, so it's fun to break it out tonight. This song is called Skeleton Key. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was a ghost without a story, a specter looking for a past, waiting and just watching as these lives pass by so fast. I wrote a tale without a hero, and I wrote a song without a tune, but all stories need an ending, and I hope that ending's you. So hear my prayer and let me know that you can see me. Exercise. Take my hand and let's go toward the light. For you're the skeleton key to set my spirit free tonight. I was a grave without a headstone, wandering there for rest, alone in the crowd as a soul that's dispossessed. I was a murder without a body, and I was a crime without a scene, but all done it's me to who, and I hope you'll hear my plea. So hear my prayer and let me know that you can see me there. Take my hand and let's go toward the light. For you're the skeleton key to set my spirit free tonight. So hear my prayer and let me know that you can see me there. Exercise. Take my hand and let's go toward the light. For you're the skeleton key to set my spirit free tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, and that was Skeleton Key. I sound like a DJ here. And that was Skeleton Key from the album Weirdest Hits by the band Sunspot, which are the three assholes you see before you right now. Anyway, so we just hope that everybody's having okay. Now, so during the song, Joe came in and he said that the staycation was extended to May 26th. Is that true? Yes,
Staycation.
that is true. We are at home until May 26th.
That's the
the
fact.
safer at home order has been extended to that.
For Wisconsin, right? The whole
Yes,
state?
Wisconsin. I believe Minnesota, for like Mark and Sharon, Minnesota's May 4th. So
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. So you can get maybe May the 4th it all is over and you can watch Star Wars in a theater. Wouldn't that be nice? All right.
But stay away from Wisconsin because you're not allowed to be out and about, oot and a boot.
Right. So if you cross that border, they'll get you. Like if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna pass up, like I'm gonna pop over to Hudson, like people did in the days when Minnesotans could only drink till 1 a.m. Like I just pop over to Hudson for the last half an hour and have a beer. If you do that now, you're going to jail. They get you in Hoosgow.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Big time trouble.
Be called in. Anyway. So, does anybody having some everybody's drinking from special glasses besides us, the people in the bands.
Hey, I have a special
You got a
koozie.
special glass.
Oh, you have a
I have my
koozie.
koozie from Music Madness ATX.
You do have a koozie. From the thing.
Personalized, I might add.
What I mean is, you don't have a glass that's our band though. Wendy does. Never mind. Wendy's.
I have a koozie.
Wendy says her frickin' name. I just
And it says Sunspot, yo.
I know when it's actually a Sunspot. Okay. I was just wondering if anybody's drinking anything interesting tonight. Now that we are forced to make, now we can't just go to the bar and order something. We have to go out,
Oh
decide
my gosh.
for ourselves.
Yeah, remember
can.
bars?
Yeah. Remember bars, guys. I do. I'm drinking. I'm still drinking the same scotch I had on Tuesday night, the Glenmorangie, and it's fantastic.
Nice. You haven't drank it all yet. That's a good sign.
Right.
Maybe?
I have. Yeah. That I am getting better. Where I'm rationing it. I'm rationing it just in case. Because what happens when all the exports from Scotland end, and I'm forced to like break into rich people's homes to steal their scotch?
Oh my gosh. Thankfully, distilleries are still essential, right? Because they can make sanitizer.
They can actually. So Yahara Bay is making sanitizer, and they make sanitizer just from vodka, I think. And they were making cleaning solution because you can't get any rubbing alcohol anywhere.
Isn't that crazy?
And they stopped making alcohol, and now they're just making hand sanitizer. I called up because I was going to go pick it up. Terry says, make something to put in the glass. Just a thought. We could make a Sunspot drink.
Oh, I like that. There is a Sunspot beer already. Ben, you've been to that brewery, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, a couple times.
Where is that? In Michigan?
Yeah, it's about 12 miles after you hit the border.
Greenbush Brewing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice summery kind of beer. But it'd be nice if we could get a place to brew up something that like all three of us like.
Yes.
Our tastes enjoy.
Oh, we have actually Bart is on the watch party, and Bart gets a shout out as a Patreon member and a cheers.
Yay, Bart!
So he's on the watch party. So he just
Bart.
said hello, Sunspot. Hello, Bart.
Cheers,
How you doing?
Bart.
Cheers to you. And then 1, 2, 3, oofda.
Oofda.
Yeah,
Bart has been
Greenbush.
listening. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just gonna say that Greenbush is a sweet brewery, and it's so popular. The first time I went there, it was an hour and 45-minute wait to get a table.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a separate building across the street that they call the Annex, the Greenbush Brewery Annex, but they make it cool. It's not just like overflow. They make it cool because there's different beers across the street.
Oh.
All made by Greenbush, but some are special.
Clever.
To the base,
Interesting.
Some can only get it at the Annex, and then there's the Annex has better outdoor games, like horseshoes and bocce balls.
Oh, fun.
And cornhole.
Good.
Oh yeah.
You can play cornhole out there. I like to play cornhole indoors.
Bags. It has two names: cornhole or bags.
Or bags.
Bags.
JJ is drinking Sailor Jerry rum and cherry juice in his Neanderthal pint glass. All right, look at that.
That's vintage.
Look at the blood. Right, so that's
vintage glassware.
That is a vintage glassware, and Sailor Jerry and cherry juice. That sounds delicious. Okay.
That does sound tasty.
Okay, Sharon says she's had to start rationing her wine. She's only got 4 bottles left, and because of the virus, I can't go bottle the 4 cases that are ready right now.
You need to start making another batch.
Yeah, you got to get back in there. Sharon, you must.
Oh, she said she can't bottle the, oh my gosh, 4 cases?
That's crazy. All right.
Have you guys been doing any like creative baking or anything like that at home? Everybody's been talking about baking bread.
That has been a popular thing I've noticed on Reddit. People are talking about baking cheese bread. And the answer is, to me doing creative baking is no.
Or like the no-knead bread, like the artisan loaves. Anyone? Ben, you were nodding before.
I made biscuits and gravy for the first time. I think I may have had that last week, but it was really good.
Best breakfast ever. I love biscuits and gravy.
I guess we're all learning something about ourselves tonight. I mean,
I tried to make
the real lesson of the coronavirus is the friends we made along the way.
I tried to make a loaf of artisan the no-knead bread, and it turned out okay, but it didn't blow my mind the way that the article made me think it would. So I guess I have to keep trying.
Understood. All right. So anybody out there in Facebook land, or we're up for any questions tonight. I think we could do, if somebody has a particular question about music or paranormal stuff or our lives that they're interested in, we're ready to take it. So if you have any burning desire to know, even if it's something we have to look up, we will help you out with that. I thought it was like, well, what do people have questions about? Because we've been talking, and we always talk about ourselves. But I'm wondering if the things we're talking about are interesting. Because like at a show, we could just be like, who cares? We're going to do a shot and then play a song for you. And here we're all hanging out. But no, I'm saying with nobody's going to go up to us when we're on stage and be like, I've got a question that's been burning in my mind. I wanted to ask you. They might do it afterwards or at the merch booth or whatever.
Or they might do it and it's impossible to hear.
Yes, right, because it could be like this. It's, what I like best, and this is something that I've really enjoyed over the years when we play live shows, what I really love is that when I'm on stage and some drunken asshole decides to get up there and actually talk to me while I'm playing a song.
Oh, like especially while you're singing.
Yeah. Oh,
play Boogie Shoes.
Pat Gamini. Hey, guys. Hey, the Ayatollah Gamini. Hope you're doing well, Pat. Hope everything's going well. I don't know if Edgewood is in the same position as the UW schools, but I'm hoping that they're taking care of you the best way that they can. And here's Ben, play Boogie Shoes. That happened at the Dry Bean on my birthday. I don't know if it was 10 years ago. I think it was 2009.
I forget that was your birthday. I remembered it was at the Dry Bean.
I'll never forget that. That was precious.
And this woman just comes up. And she's just like right in the middle or playing something else. She's like, play Boogie Shoes. And just the most obnoxious. This is like a Wednesday because we're like, oh, it's my birthday. We'll play anyway, right? And Dry Bean was paying great at the time.
She wouldn't give up though.
Yeah, no, she was
relentless.
She's like, Boogie
and then
Shoes.
She was like getting mean about it. If you're going to make a request, don't be mean about it. You're not going to get the request. Like, number one, you're not going to get it if it's a song like Boogie Shoes at a Sunspot show. I'm sorry. But number two, be nice.
Number three, I hate you.
That girl was so drunk. She was literally hanging from the rafters at the end of the night. I remember her like grabbing onto the ceiling supports.
Right.
And we encouraged our friends and fans to stay indoors when she walked out with keys in hand and drove away.
She did.
Oh, man,
so,
I hate that.
Anyway, hopefully she ran into a tree. But the thing is,
jeez.
So people that come, that's what I mean. Like some people will ask you a question directly on stage. Like you're in the middle of playing, like, I'm going at it. Like, And you're thinking like, okay, does he want a guitar pick? I don't use a pick. Like, what is he? And they're like, no.
Or
Like,
is it an emergency?
yeah, you're like, oh, okay, hit what?
Maybe he's like,
Play
"You
some
got something to
Nickelback. I hope. Yeah, if it was up to me, I would have security take you back and put your head in the fry oil. But it's not up to me.
eat." Ew, that's nasty.
Right. Okay. Now Scott's got a question.
Okay.
Oh, who's your top hero for your respective instruments? So who do we like? So for me, I'd be talking about bass or guitar, vocal. Wendy, you could talk about drums, violin. Ben, you could talk about guitar and perhaps tuba. So what will be? So our top hero for respective instruments. Who's got something? Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Yes.
Mine's easy. That is and always has been Steve Vai for guitar. Tuba, it's probably Pat Sheridan. He was the first person I ever heard play Flight of the Bumblebee on the tuba when I was like 14. And that really like made a huge difference to me. Trumpet,
Ben.
Bud Herseth. Clarinet, Han Kim. I've got a whole bunch of favorites. Trombone, Joe Alessi. Or, well, Charlie Vernon for bass trombone.
Hold on, watch this. Ben, you know what you need to do?
Yeah, I looked at. All right, that.
Get a light? Oh,
You're backwards. You got to go the other
Yeah.
way. Ben, I got to tell you something. You should check out. I haven't seen it myself yet, but it was recommended by our friend Tanya during our other live feed that I guess Steve Vai has. He's been posting live videos during the quarantine, and it's
Outstanding.
and it's him. It's not only like practicing tips and things like guitar stuff, but also just general philosophy. And I guess they're really good. So I want to try to go back and watch them because he's an interesting dude.
Yes,
and very inspiring. Anybody who's that skilled at a craft,
he is. Yeah. And I think
really
I did an interview with Steve Vai for Maximum Inc. a few years ago, and the way he just is so. He really thinks about the guitar, like he's not just a player. Like he really, I mean, it's just it's a real thought. Like he puts, it's a purposeful or intentional. Like the way he plays, what he does, is very intentional, and you can really see that in his playing. And when he talks about
he fasted before he recorded "For the Love of God." It's still one of my favorite guitar solos.
Wow.
And Mike,
Ben, you would be too hangry.
Right. Oh
yeah. Ben could.
Ben's
not gonna fast before a solo. He's gonna punch. He'd walk in the studio and punch us all.
That would kill all the rest of the band.
He'd be like,
fuck
you guys.
Idea. So, and Mike, as far as bass players, like, I mean, I don't want to take people's names out of your mouth, but like, I mean, Billy Sheehan and like I still listen to a bunch of Billy Sheehan stuff, and Steve Harris is all-time fave. But don't call me old or make fun of me for listening to light music. But Victor Wooten is a really good bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna. So Billy Sheehan, I think, is technically amazing. I think Victor Wooten is technically amazing. And actually, we saw both of them at NAMM one year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
was his brother Roy there too with him with the
No, Victor was just playing alone.
Roy boy.
Victor was just playing alone, and everybody was shitting their pants, and he's obviously amazing.
Yeah.
Steve Harris, though, I was gonna say, here's why I think Steve Harris is a personal favorite. Because Steve Harris is not technically the best bass player out there. But sorry, my microphone dropped out here. Steve Harris can write songs. Like Steve Harris wrote most of Iron Maiden's music. The bass player wrote most of the songs, and then like he's singing guitar solos, he's putting words together and the melodies and everything like that. So you combine a great player who's also the guy that's the creative engine. I think that's something amazing. The way that, so I mean, technical skill is great and it's important. But that when it comes to like a total package, that's why I think Steve Harris is the total package of a bass player. He can't sing.
Yeah.
I guess you know what? I shouldn't say total package because you don't see Steve Harris singing. So he's not a total package.
But
he's he's
he applies his technical skills in a creative way.
Right. And a songwriter to make something awesome. And he doesn't always have to showboat or anything like that. I mean, he showboats plenty. But like he just has a certain way of doing it. And so Steve Harris is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think Billy Sheehan is an amazing player to watch. I've seen him live like 7 or 8 times, and he's just crazy good. And vocal hero. Well, as far as a person goes, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. The fact that he like can fly a plane, and all that kind of stuff that he does. He's like he was in the Olympic fencing team for Britain, like, and not that long ago. So plus he's a great vocalist. He's good. David Lee Roth is obviously, people say his voice is shot and he never was that good of a singer or whatever. Who cares? Like, could David Lee Roth hit a bunch of notes? Nope. Could David Lee Roth like make the coolest song in the world? Yep.
Could David Lee Roth do a high kick while he's singing?
Yeah. And, if you're like there, I mean, it's not the tool. It's how you use the tool. Like some sword. Like we talk about the fencing example. Some swords are longer than others or whatever.
Oh gosh!
Like
really,
how do you?
Mike?
I'm not talking about dicks for Christ's sake. But like if you can still stab people,
For
like
once.
or how effectively can you stab? Yeah. So I think some of those guys just amazing in what they do, and probably I have a dozen more that I can't think of, but I was just thinking about Steve Harris today as I was listening to Iron Maiden. So that's why I think he is. Well, Geddy Lee obviously is an amazing bass player and vocalist, and so like he's another guy that I could just listen to him play all day. Maybe not talk because there's too many A's and too many like boots in his voice, but I do. I could listen to him play bass and sing songs all day. Wendy, how about you? Who are your heroes?
Well, for drums, okay, there's just so many amazing rock drummers out there, and so I always have kind of like a twofold answer to that. That Buddy Rich kind of was like the person that sort of drew me into the drums, because even as a kid, my dad would always play the old jazz records and stuff like that. And you'd hear the little crazy drum solos and it's like, whoa, what's going on there? That's not just like a boom chick, and then you see the videos of him playing and you're like, how on earth did a human with the equipment available at his time do that? Anyway, so Buddy Rich is, he's in there as just like an influence that got me interested in the instrument. And then, I mean, there's so many good rock drummers, like it's kind of hard to choose, but I'll just say one that I really like is I really like Kenny Arnoff.
Oh yeah.
Because I really appreciate his style of playing. He's just really solid, straight ahead. He can do all the fancy stuff, but like he saves it to serve the song. He's like really dedicated to serving the song. And I've seen him at a couple of drum clinics, and it was just neat to see like the inside scoop behind how he does recording and his process for writing parts and everything like that. And I just respect it. So he's up there. I saw him play when the Smashing Pumpkins were on tour, when he was like after Jimmy Chamberlain
OD'd with a guy,
kicked out of the band or whatever. Yeah, so he was on that tour, and that was the only time I've ever seen the Smashing Pumpkins, and they were one of my favorite bands like during my college years. So I saw him playing, and I was like, what is that? So yeah, I'll say Kenny Arnoff for drums. For violin, I don't really know. I'm just there's too many different there's so many different styles of playing and styles of music right now, and I'm just diving into the electric violin like rabbit hole. So check back with me on that one.
You know who I was thinking about for drummers? You know who I was thinking about the other day? Who never gets, because he's dead now, but never gets enough credit, is Nick Menza from Megadeth. Like if you listen to Rust in Peace, like his fills on like every song has a fill that would be like the best fill on another album. And
Oh,
so Nick
man.
Menz is just insanely good. And I'm like, wow, he just because he was kicked out of the band not that long afterward. He was only in I think Megadeth during like their glory years. And he died like I think he was playing on like a cruise ship or something like that. And he passed. He had a heart attack on stage and kicked
Aw.
it. But Nick Menz,
Oh my gosh.
Nick Menz is amazing. Vocalist, I was thinking for female vocalists, I was listening to the other day. I was thinking about Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine.
Oh gosh.
Her songs are great. She's a great songwriter. Her albums are great. But if Florence Welch fronted a metal band, it would be the greatest metal band ever. She's
nice.
just amazing, powerful voice. And you're like, you know what? She has so many great songs. But you're like, you know what that song could use? Distortion. Okay, we got a couple of things. Thanks for that question, Scott. Terry wants to hear some
good question.
Terry wants to hear some tour stories, and we shall do.
Boy.
We should give you a couple of tour stories in a little bit.
You guys are good interviewers.
Yeah. Hey, give me a minute.
All right. Yep.
Ben needs a refill.
Okay. Well, Ben's gonna refill.
All right,
Abigail
we'll
has a
cover for
question about if you could investigate any haunted location. What would that haunted location be? And so this is a perfect opportunity for Ben to get his refill. I would like to do an investigation of the rave in Milwaukee, the rave in the Eagles Club, because I don't know that anyone's done a real investigation there. Number one, because the place was mobbed up for a long time, so there's only so many things you could do. But they've got a million stories about the Eagles Club, and I just did an investigation of the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee last year, and it was pretty good. It was fun. But like the rave, I feel like is an like a lot of people have done the Riverside, and the owners let people stay overnight there for years. But I haven't heard people like, oh, we've gone to the Eagles Club, the rave in Milwaukee, which is supposedly haunted by the ghost of Buddy Holly.
Right.
And people have heard weird things. So the rave has like 4 levels. And this is what makes it really cool. So if you take the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee is like a traditional early 20th century theater. 500 or 600 people, you can fit it. Maybe Riverside, maybe 800, I think. And it's got a balcony. It's got the main seats. It's got a stage. But the rave in the Eagles Club has like an upper level, the Eagles Club, with a stage that fits, a couple of thousand people. I remember seeing that's where I saw Smashing Pumpkins at the end of the Siamese Dream tour. And then there's the rave level, which is about another 1,200 people it fits in. I saw Billy Sheehan play there a couple of times at Mr. Big. And there's a basement level. Wendy and I went to see Muse there.
We saw Muse there.
In the basement. That fits about 300 people. 300 to 400 people. And there's like
it's a sweaty good time.
There's an underwater pool. Like there's an underground pool. Like an empty pool and stuff there too. So there's so many things at the rave, because it was a bowling alley down there for a while. It was a pool for a while. And there's so many like untouched history in Milwaukee, ghosts, mobsters, musicians, murder. And plus, Wisconsin Avenue is a great place to get murdered.
Right. I mean, I was just going to say, if we're going local, then I would add the Wisconsin Club to that.
Okay.
Which was General Mitchell's childhood home. It's a big, beautiful old mansion that has some haunting stories of its own. But I've never heard of any investigations being done there. So I think that would be a neat place to check out.
I agree. That sounds really cool.
Local.
And so I think as far as like locations, the rave is an untouched diamond. Like we were talking about Waverly Hills Sanitarium on Tuesday, and that obviously seems awesome. But people have,
tainted it.
Not necessarily tainted it, but all the investigation's been done there, and a lot of people have gone there. Like I'd like to go to a place and be the first one to find something.
It also, like, it kind of is tainted because they made it into a haunted house at, during Halloween and stuff like that. So anytime you go into an old historical building that's been converted into a haunted attraction for entertainment purposes, like, it's a different vibe. It's hard to, like, do a serious investigation when you see, like, props and goofy, jack-o'-lantern heads and stuff like, I don't know.
Right. No, that is absolutely right. Okay, I'm checking the watch party real quick to see if anybody says hi.
Checking the watch party. Watch.
Oh, Bart's got a question. It's a Patreon question. We got to take it. What do you think about Last Crack? I caught them live before the apocalypse in Milwaukee and tracked down all their material. There seems to be quite a history with the band.
They're awesome.
Absolute dude, Last Crack's awesome. Paul Schluter, the guitar player. I've played with Paul in side project stuff every once in a while and recorded with Paul. He is a wonderful guitar player, brilliant. Butto is a super interesting character.
And a great singer.
Yeah, and he's right. His stage presence. I mean, he's just Last Crack's an awesome band. And
yes,
one of these days, if you want to hear the whole history of Last Crack, you got to talk to our friend Rocker, with the umlaut, Rocker from Maximum Inc., because he was like their hype guy on their European tour when they were kind of blowing up. So Last Crack for you guys was a Madison like rock band, like kind of funk metal band, like right when funk metal was hitting in the late 80s and early 90s. And they got a song released on Roadrunner Records, and it went pretty big, and they had rotation on MTV, Headbangers Ball, that kind of thing. And they were on their way, and then, as what happens when you're on your way, sometimes implosions happen, and people don't get along, things happen, and then boom. Butto, who was the singer, left. They got a new singer coming from North Carolina, a very talented guy, Sean. And the next release just didn't do as well as the first one. So then I think faded out, but those guys kept around playing bands in Madison for several years. But no, Last Crack was amazing guys, and the nicest guys in the world.
Yes,
and very
nice dudes.
Obviously very talented. I've interviewed them for Rockers Magazine actually several times. Johnny Walbroon, if you were on a desert island and there was no food, who would Ben eat first? Going back to the hangry.
Oh gosh.
Going back to the hangry. Me, because
you could probably run faster than me, Mike.
I might be able to run faster, but the thing is, I'd be the smart money because I'd last longer. So the thing is, if you're wanting to be saved, you would kill me and eat me because you could eat me over time. Like there's more meat to me.
Gross. So gross.
So you get an extra couple of days of protein or several days of protein if you were waiting on a rescue. So then he might.
You do have more muscles.
Well, just in general, there's more.
You're more
there is
muscular.
more of me to eat. So killing me might prevent, like, because the thing is, if we killed you and ate you, Wendy, we'd done it in like 3 days, and then we're like, okay, and then we got to.
Hey, I would last longer than that.
Then we'd have to fight it out. And so this way, there's a chance for both of you to be saved if you eat me.
I guess we know what we need to do, Ben.
So thank you for that question, John. Thank you, Bart. Okay.
The weirdest question of the day.
I like it. All right. Mark says Sammy Hagar, always going back to some of our favorite artists. Sammy Hagar always puts on a fun show. He does, Mark.
True.
Sammy Hagar, super talented. Ben, you saw him in Cabo, didn't you?
I was there like the night after he played or something. But yes, I went to his club.
Cabo?
Yeah.
Cabo Wabo?
Cabo Wabo.
I went to it.
That's how Sammy Hagar became like a multimillionaire. Was the liquor and
Much tequila.
Right. He writes that song, and that's how he made him millions of dollars.
Which is the same song as like a bunch of other songs. Sorry, what were you saying, Ben?
I was just gonna say you could get takeout bottles of Cabo Wabo stuff for $50, and I was like, oh well, maybe it's cheaper at like the duty free shop instead of at Sammy Hagar's club. Nope.
No,
it's still expensive stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, now you know. If you're there, take advantage and get the cheaper booze.
Yes.
Yeah.
While you're there.
Now, Ben and I saw Sammy Hagar when he was singing for Van Halen on the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour in Milwaukee, in August of
almost 30 years ago now.
August of 1991.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually the week before I think our freshman year of high school started, and our parents allowed us to wait in line overnight to buy concert tickets. Back when you would wait to buy concert tickets instead of just calling in or the one thing I cannot forgive Sammy Hagar for is when he said thank you Michigan, and like the entire crowd's like fuck you Sammy. It was super funny. Like I think even Ben's dad was like what, like gave him the finger. He like Sammy Hagar just call us Michigan.
That's rude.
I thought one of the more fascinating things about that show is that Alice in Chains was a nobody right about then, and like so we're standing up and we're headbanging
because they were awesome.
These geezers behind us were like, "Sit down! Who are these guys?" And we're like, "Come on, it's Alice in Chains."
And the funny thing,
you don't go to a rock show to sit down.
And the funny thing about that was that just my cousin from Hawaii sent me Alice in Chains' first album, and he's like, "You're gonna love this album."
Yeah.
And he like a week before, I'm like, "What?" So I listened to him, like, "This album's awesome." And we're like standing up, we're like rocking the fuck out to Alice in Chains. Like, this guy's awesome. These guys are like, "What? This is crap. Sit it down, you." And we're like, "Blow us, old guys." But we didn't say that because we were like like at the edge of 14.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but we do have breaking news.
Yeah.
We have a brand new Patreon member.
What?
Yay.
So we want to welcome Terry.
Terry?
A very
Thanks,
big
Terry.
Sunspot supporter all along.
Well,
but
obviously.
yes, cheers.
And then
She gets an oofda.
She asked 1, 2, 3. Oofda.
Oofda.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining. And we do appreciate everybody who has been joining our community during this time. It's the band, we won't get into any details, but we have lost a lot of
Shows.
opportunities for earning with all of our shows being canceled between now and I don't know what, August. So
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
so the Patreon is kind of helping us out with that, and we really appreciate it. I know it's hard for everybody at this time, so if you can
supporting
spare a few bucks
local music,
and you're willing to, we really appreciate it. We know how hard it is, so thank you.
Now, Terry was interested in the tour story, and that was actually the next one we're going to like, and so she's like, a great thing, a thing that went wrong, and a thing that looked horrible but ended great.
Ooh, who wants to pick? We could each pick one.
That's what I was thinking. So, who wants to do who's got a positive thing? Who's got a great thing?
I could definitely come up with a great thing. Oh, there's too many. How do I decide? No, I don't know.
Well, okay. Then, I mean, we could probably talk about things that went wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I can. Oh God, yeah. There's too many things to pick from. Where do we start? Murphy's tour.
Yeah, that's a good example. So that one, we had a few dates starting in Lafayette, Indiana, then moving on to Pittsburgh.
Detroit.
It was Detroit?
Wasn't it that time when we played at that theater in Detroit? And then didn't we break down?
Oh, Roseville Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, that place was gorgeous too.
Cool theater.
Would have been cooler with some people in it.
Right.
Yeah, I could have used
like the size of the Crystal Grand, and we'd probably like 20 people.
Yeah, it was like a 2,500 person capacity place for like 20 people.
They're like, who are these clowns?
That particular one, but our show in Lafayette, Indiana, I'm not sure if it was that particular one, but there was one like Lafayette, Indiana we went to, and the club had closed down. So we got there, and then the club has been closed down. We went
that is a good one.
We went to Pittsburgh, and then it was a cool place. Like we were playing like with a cool band and stuff like that. And then my bass guitar did not work the entire night. And I thought it was the sound guy. I was super mad at them. Like, the sound guy fucked me.
What was the venue in Pittsburgh?
Nick's Fat City was the venue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, play with that band Venus and Furs. They had like naked chicks dancing on stage. Like people go crazy. Like we're gonna kick some ass. Well, I got my ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
It just
we weren't able to kick ass because we were missing a little bit of
bass,
the low end.
distracted me from singing the whole thing. So I mean, we still came out, and some people were even like, "Good job," and I'm like, "You don't even have ears." The deaf people thought it sounded great. But that one was a rough one. And then we had like two more things happen on that tour that were rough. But
I thought we broke down, like we got a flat or something. Is that Holiday City?
No, Holiday City was when we went to. Oh, okay. Let's tell this story. All right, so this is we'll get.
You really open up a door, Terry.
The pants around the ankles.
Like we could. Oh, that's right.
Here's the thing that was horrible. Here's the thing that was horrible but ended great. And Holiday City.
Oh God.
Holiday City, Indiana. So the first time we play out of state, it's the year 2000. In the year 2000, or is it
the distant future?
Right. It used to be the future, which is now our 20 years past. And I think we're right now. We're like it's the 20-year anniversary of that show.
April 2000.
And so we just send out a bunch of videotapes to booking agents. And we get like this guy in Baltimore calls back. He's like, "Hey, I got a show for you." I'm like, fantastic. And it's this place called Palomas, and they're paying $300 for the night plus a hotel room.
Big time.
And this at the time,
That's even good nowadays.
right? At the time though, we could get to Baltimore and back for like $225. So it was like
In Ben's very fuel efficient truck.
right in Ben's
Right.
tiny Isuzu. Like
Nissan.
Sorry,
Yeah, gas prices
I mixed
look
up
like they do now.
I mixed up the second tier Japanese car company.
The trailer was a Suzu, I think. The cutoff trailer.
So
Yes, it was.
we're
You're correct.
we're driving to Baltimore, and then we're gonna stay in a hotel. Like the thing is, you get hotels for $50 at times. So we're still gonna come out ahead. Like even though I've been like $25 ahead, it's our first show out of state. It's gonna be 900 miles away.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah, we're like fuck
Why
it, let's
not?
do it. And so we
You
get
got
in.
nothing but time at that when you're that age.
The first thing that happens is that maybe 5 hours into the trip in Holiday City, is it Indiana or Ohio? I can't remember.
Ohio.
The van, like we get a flat tire, and then we're there for like 6 hours, and then but the thing is where we were too. It's not like we could just get a tire fixed at the local Meineke or whatever. It was like the guys from Deliverance. Like Wendy and I are like behind the truck. We see Ben go back with the guy, and we thought that like we don't have enough money for this flat, so we thought Ben was gonna like they're gonna see the pants drop around his ankles just under the truck.
We were on. Mike and I were on the so we were pulled over on the shoulder, and we were trying to stay away from the highway, and so Mike and I were like in the grass as far away as possible, and Ben and the tow truck driver were like right by the driver's side because they were looking at the tire, and Mike and I were just like all we could see were their feet from under the truck, and we were like, we're just gonna see
Ben like
Right,
like he's like, you know what, you don't have enough money. Well, you sure got a purty mouth, and I'm gonna have a holiday in your city right now.
I haven't thought about that. And, oh my gosh, we have another Patreon.
What?
This is like a telethon. Abigail, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Oh my
much.
God.
Okay, well, you get a
That
cheers.
calls for Nufta.
1, 2, 3.
2, 3.
Oofda.
Oofda. This is exciting. Wow, thank you.
So,
oh my gosh.
And then we get the Palomas. I'm sorry. Then we drive all night, and we get to the club at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
And luckily, somebody was there. Let us in because the hotel we couldn't get in the hotel yet. Let us in. We unpack our equipment, get it we set up the stage at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then just sleep at the club on the couches there for the next 5 hours.
Thankfully there was like a loungy area, couch and stuff like that, so just passed out there.
And so then we go to the hotel. We sleep for another 2 hours. We get back. We play the show. It's actually pretty good. We meet a lot of cool people.
It was fun.
People that we actually hung out with for years after that. And then the only people that knew there was a friend of ours who lived in Washington, D.C., and she and her friend had driven to Baltimore for the show, and she came to watch. And then they leave, and then we just pack up, and we're like, oh, let's go back to the hotel. But the thing is, we like forgot something in the club or whatever, or we're like, we were going to go buy liquor because you could buy late then. And we were going to go buy liquor and then go to the hotel and have a couple of drinks, go to bed. And as we're like going to buy something, like the bartender says like, hey,
Jack.
you want to come back in here? We're like, sure, I guess. And then we proceed
like,
to just
like the doors cracked open, like,
Wait,
okay, we're not supposed to
hold on
be.
a second. You forgot to mention he wasn't wearing any pants. His name was Jack.
Oh, details. Is that
Okay.
weird?
I don't remember
I
that.
mean,
I mean, I guess
I don't know about you guys, but
right. I haven't worn pants in a week.
I'm just kidding. No, that is a relevant detail because his he had a certain nickname that was like embroidered on his underwear.
Wait, I don't remember any of this part.
Well,
Right.
of course you don't remember it, but I don't know why it's in my head that his nickname was Sugar Nuts.
I forgot about
He was
Sugar Nuts.
like, that's my nickname, and I got it on my underwear, and he had it like embroidered on his shorts. Sugar Nuts. You don't remember that?
No, I remember drinking an entire bottle of Tuaca.
Yep.
That's
That
about
was-
it.
That was
And then the
brutal.
And then the owner bought us breakfast, and I fell asleep in my pancake.
Ben passed out at the restaurant, like in his food. And then they drove us back to the hotel. We went to sleep, and then never paid us. So we
Wait,
right.
hold on though. Like, we were only so that was an unbelievable hotel. It was like a
It
one
was-
bedroom suite.
It was
which, like,
luxury.
I had like never been in before, and we
Yeah.
spent an hour and a half at that.
We
hotel.
felt like rock stars. Like when we saw the room, we were like, "This is it! Like
Yeah.
this is the
Right.
big time. We made it." And then, yeah, we weren't even in there.
And the
like,
thing is-
they might as well have just saved the money or paid it to the
Slept an hour.
band.
right, they should have paid it to us. So we could have slept on the goddamn couch at the club.
On the
That's where we
couch.
did more sleeping anyway. But it's just a funny thing because it's like it was a true rock star because we partied all night. We had a glorious hotel. We had a good show, and then we got ripped off.
But we did get. Didn't somebody buy breakfast?
Yeah, they bought
Like,
breakfast,
bartender.
but I'd have bought breakfast if I knew we weren't gonna get paid.
That was the same trip that Mike and I had a shared hallucination
Yes, driving through
while we
Pennsylvania.
were driving.
Yep.
Paranormal. Speaking of paranormal,
Yeah, speaking of paranormal.
we were like seeing things because, well, it was probably sleep deprivation more than anything, but
Well,
Freaky.
Thank you for that question, Terry. I forgot about the Palomas. That was the first time we ever played, and also the fact is, Palomas was had music and stuff like that, but it also wasn't mainly a rock club. It was like an alternative lifestyles club too.
yeah, it was like kind of almost like a coffee shop loungy kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, but it
And-
ended up being awesome.
By the way, I was in Baltimore just a couple years ago. Scott and I went there for one of his friends' wedding, and I made the pilgrimage to the location that was formerly Paloma's. It is no longer there,
Okay.
but I had to see it, from with my new eyes.
I think
My
it was-
new
I think it was gone a couple years later.
20 years later
I think it was
eyes.
gone a couple years later because there was a couple of times I went into Baltimore, like 2003 and 2004, and
Yeah.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, because there was a club wanted to go see, Yellow Card or something. Like it was I think it was a,
Sweet.
like we were going to
Oh,
see,
I love Yellow
and they were
Card.
in Baltimore. I think they were with OK Go, but we went to go see OK Go, and Yellow Card was
Dude, that's
over.
awesome.
And then I was like, oh, I want to stop by Palomas and have a drink. I want to see if they're still working there because this is only 3 years later. And then Tiffany had been there, so she's like, oh yeah, let's go check it out. And then it wasn't. In
Yeah,
business.
well, they probably went out of business because they gave away too much booze to
Free.
the bands after.
They gave away too much
The club
Tuaca and they
closes.
didn't pay the bands.
Orange brandy. Man.
Okay. Good question, Terry. And we'll have more tour stories coming
Oh
up.
my
But that was a
gosh.
fun one to.
Yeah.
That,
We could go on forever,
Yeah.
literally. Like,
um,
so many comments.
I was gonna say I got to keep looking for the next. Well, thank you,
I
Abe.
thought-
Just signed on Patreon. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh.
Abigail.
That is so cool.
Thank you
Our
so much for your
favorite
for helping.
fantasy live.
Well, we're gonna
That is so
hopefully we can
sweet.
go.
That,
We can do some live shows coming up again soon.
that warms my heart. We'll keep trying to do live whatever we can in the meantime, but definitely looking forward to getting back on stage.
Terry,
Oh my
pants
gosh.
optional. He was before his time.
Way before his time.
On the watch party, Dan from Illinois, Dan Malone says hi. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Hey, Dan.
Okay. Andy from Wausau. But was the pool open till 5:55 a.m.? So yes. Now, so Andy's been with us when we used to play this place. We used to play this dump in Wausau called Players.
I think
Yeah.
didn't we talk about this last week?
About the pool that was like the all night. We might have been talking about.
Super 8
Yeah, the Super 8
Yeah.
pool.
all night pool parties.
Yeah, and that particular place, like because the drummer from the other band was like banging the girl at the front door at the desk, it wasn't. I don't think it was normally a 24-hour pool. Maybe it was. I mean, but
Yeah, it was.
but
they
they normally
just
wouldn't bring
didn't
out
mind
towels.
That we invited the entire
the
entire
whole bar to come in,
to an after bar.
drink with us to the end of the night.
And the best part was like then we left the pool party and just went straight to the breakfast
Right.
because it was already open because it was like 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, well, good times, y'all. Good times.
All the Fruit Loops you could possibly want.
Okay.
Sugar nuts. It was Sugar Nut's still hanging around.
Not when right when I went to visit that we no longer had Sugar Nuts. Yeah, he was no longer there.
I didn't see him. And also, I want to just bring up the fact that really close to where Paloma's was is the 7-Eleven that's in the building where the Ouija board was originally like conceived and named and whatnot. So they have like a little plaque in there, like a little commemorative historical marker type thing. So Scott and I went there to check that out because cool little thing. And then I realized, like, when I was looking at the map, I'm like, wait a minute, this is really close to Paloma's. So fun fact. Who knew?
Andy's like,
Who
nope,
knew we're so close.
Nope, they kicked us out just before breakfast.
Yeah, and then we went straight to the little breakfast area.
I just know that sleep did not happen at that Super. Oh God,
there was no sleep.
I just think about that Super 8 whenever I want to think about, like, whenever I think I'm really cool, whenever I think I've done something really great, I'm like, man, I'm really kicking ass in this. I am a fucking stallion. Check out what I've been doing. And then I'm like, huh. It brings me down a notch.
Oh, come on. Those parties were awesome.
They were awesome. I just mean that the level of my stupidity was to such a point that it takes away from future greatness.
Yeah, I remember those parties. I remember being frightened because people were like in the pool playing chicken.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, drunk people in a pool.
Oh, yeah. The chance,
bad idea.
Chance of death is very high.
Yeah, not so smart.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do one more quick song, and then let's take a couple more questions. And we want to thank everybody for hanging out with us on a fine.
This is so fun.
Right.
Even though it sucks like that we aren't together. Because this is the longest this is by far the longest the three of us have been separate from each other.
In like 25
decades.
years.
Yeah,
25
honestly.
Years. Like, I think
because we see each other every week at least once.
Right. I mean, Wendy, maybe when you went to France in 2000.
Oh, that's right. I was gone for like 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, and I think about when I went to Europe in like 2008.
Right.
And so maybe there's a couple of times we went to Europe for like 3 to 4 weeks, but it's already been over that. It's already been over that because this is the 5th week of the lockdown.
Yeah. It was the week we were supposed to leave for Austin.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
So that was over a month ago.
I don't want to talk about it because my heart is broken.
Makes me so sad.
Yes, it does. Okay, now here's a fun song, and you know what people have been asking for, guys? People have been asking for Wendy to play some. Wendy, what's the name of your squeezy thing?
Mike, you're talking about Linda.
Linda.
Don't call her a squeezy thing.
Well,
she's right over there.
Right, Daddy plays a squeeze box. So we're gonna bring out Linda for a quick track here.
Oh dear.
Okay, and so there's a word for when you feel good when other people feel bad, and it's a German word. Who'd have thunk it? And that word is Schadenfreude. One, 2, 3, and. There's just a little part of me that's just so happy I'm not you. You know the Germans have a word for it. Of course they do. Of course they do. It's the speeding ticket for the other guy. It's the coffee spilled on your asshole boss's tie. Reality TV when some dumb chick cries, oh, oh, boo-hoo. Oh, oh, boo-hoo. Why do I like when shit happens to you? Why do I get a little one when you get screwed? It's just a bit of bad luck that puts me in a good mood. Oh, yes, it do. Oh, yes, it do. Yeah! personal, you see. It's just a relief when I thank God that it's not me. You know I come off like a mean-spirited dick, but you can tell me that you never thought about it. Uh-oh, here come the gremlins. They snuck in.
What happened?
What happened?
That was scary.
What happened was something pooped out right there.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
We'll have to share it again later.
Yes, we will
Maybe,
reshare. We will reshare Schadenfreude with everybody.
The expression on our faces though when it froze.
Right. The thing is,
brilliant.
like I watched it early. So, yeah, I got to go back in because like we also prepared a new version of Prozac Girl tonight for everybody. So I'll get that up. Maybe I'll get that out to the Patreons.
They're little
first.
treats that we can disperse.
Yes, little things. Because and we really like this stuff. Like it. I know it looks like we prepared all these things in advance, but we try to make it as live and fun as possible. With this kind of thing. Oh, what's Ben sucking down?
Ben's back with a new beverage. What is that?
Founders.
He's vertical now. Founders, nice.
So Bart remembered Linda. He's like, Linda!
Yeah, Linda's got her own fan club.
Chuck Washbish
And-
from Racine says hi.
Hey, Chuck.
Lisa Foley from Minneapolis says hi.
Minnesota?
Lisa. Yeah, they're all in the watch party. So I'm checking the watch party every once in a while
okay,
here.
cool.
For the people who are checking that out. Because you never know where people are going to come back in. Abigail will have Prozac Girl for you sooner rather than later. Jimmy from Antigo, he's like, nice beard back then. Back then was Tuesday.
It was like last week.
Yeah, no, I did let it go for a while, and I thought and I was saying,
There he is. He's horizontal again.
I was saying that the real problem with having a longer beard is that I get it stuck in my zipper all the time because I wear sweatshirts a lot, and I mean it wasn't like ZZ
I hate
Top
it when that
long.
happens.
Right, and I think I heard a funny joke about ZZ Top last night. I was talking to somebody, and he was talking about having a long beard or whatever. And he's like, the joke about ZZ Top is like, do they put the beard above or under the covers? And so when you go to sleep,
That's funny.
yeah, like where do
they
they
tuck the beard into?
Where do they put that thing that's on their face? So anyway, and Terry's like, it's Linda, numbnuts. So, like I just couldn't remember it for a second.
Terry has seen Linda live probably more than most.
Right.
I think she might have been there for the inaugural Linda unveiling when Linda came to me last year.
Oh yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
Matt's. Speaking of the zipper, Frank and Beans. Frank and Beans. That's from Something About Mary.
Oh.
Up. Stu. Speaking of
another
another
Patreon.
Patreon. All right, a cheers to Stu.
Cheers, Stu. It's good to see you.
Let's do
Thanks for
1,
coming.
2, 3. Oofda.
Oofda.
Oh, Terry says that Sean Shell, Hillbilly Shell, as we call him, shaved his beard down yesterday live and had 100+ viewers on it. Now, Sean's beard was like ZZ Top like down to his dick or whatever. But it was like...
He was a ginger beard man.
Yeah, he was red. But right down. I mean, it was a massive beard. But the thing is, shaving that, of course, he's going to have 100+ viewers on it because it's going to take 2.5 hours. I had enough trouble. With a trimmer and everything. I had enough, just 6 weeks growth of beard. It took me an hour to get it to something manageable. Anyway, that's just the way of things.
Personal grooming talk.
Right. Everybody likes it. That's
This
right,
is what
ladies.
it comes to the quarantine.
You want to hear me talk about shaving off a beard?
Oh,
Okay. Oh, and Bart's like, who's Zipper? Well, the zipper right here, Bart. I wish it was as fun as it sounds. I got my beard caught in a zipper.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, we should do, I think, one more tour story before we go off tonight. And just a quick advertisement. We're going to do a live stream for the See You on the Other Side podcast Sunday at 2 p.m. With Dean McMurray, the military medium. That's going to be something that's going on. So you can check that out live. And if you guys have some like medium questions, I mean, not like medium questions. Like, well, it's not a small question, but it's not a big question.
Well, let's explain that he was in the military, but he's a psychic medium, so he like provides a form of like counseling, right, for people with
PTSD,
post-traumatic stress disorder. And
he's a vet. I mean, and he's served overseas and stuff, and so, but he will do, in addition to, like, I mean, he's got some sensitivities. But the thing is, if you have any friends in the service, it might be a good thing if they're into spirituality and things like that. That might be something cool for them to check out. Sunday at 2 p.m. And that'll be, we'll post on that too. We lost Ben. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, what happened? Ben!
So I just wanted to add that. But I thought we should do.
Why you leave us?
So the thing is, we talked about Terry when she was asking about particular tour stories. The thing that went wrong, the thing that looked horrible but ended great. Like, I think Paloma's ended great. And it looked horrible, like when we got there and all this kind of stuff was going wrong and stuff. Like, it ended up.
There have been tons. We could probably write a book of things that started horrible and ended great, actually.
Yeah.
Thankfully that. Well, I guess there's probably a bunch in the other direction as well.
But stuff that
I like.
Well, where's Ben here?
Oh, Ben.
Like, I hear him.
Just give me a second on the video.
He's
my device.
The voice from beyond.
He's taking a leak.
So you were talking about Palomas again. I think one that looked terrible and then turned out great would also be the hurricane. So right. So like New York City, like finally a club owner actually like calls to tell us, don't come here.
And I worked so hard to line up that show in New York City.
Yes.
But like, remember when Kansas City flooded? They didn't even tell us. It was
they had a few things on their mind.
Yes,
right. But we were already in Iowa before we found out that the Kansas City club flooded. So it was just cool that while we were in Philadelphia, the club owner called from New York City and said, "Don't come here."
Yes.
And like, so we leave the hotel, and the like there's signs in the elevators that say, if you're staying another night, make sure that you close your drapes in case of flying glass. At which point we get in the van and we start driving. And like, Wendy, you were driving, right? You took that sweet picture out of the rear view mirror and you could see the hurricane like coming for us. It looked like a giant gray hand.
Yeah. That was
so
crazy.
That did not look good. And, but like we reached out to one of our friends who was a promoter in Cincinnati and then became a promoter in Nashville, Jem, and she hooked us up with a band from Columbus that just happened to be playing in Pittsburgh that night, which was on our way home. So, and it was a really cool club because it was like a horror movie themed club. So there's like all these autographed like horror movie.
What was that place called?
The
like
Moose.
Something a Moose?
The Moose Knuckle.
Man, I don't even remember what the name of it was.
Wait, that wasn't even meant to be dirty. I thought it was called the Moose Knuckle.
Was it next door to the Camel's Toe or something? What? No, it was like the Dirty Moose or like the Drooling Moose.
The hot
or something
moose.
like that.
The sexy moose.
Something like that.
The moose that asked for it.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, the club was cool. Like the band that she paired us with from Columbus ended up being really cool guys, and the club was like
we had
great
an awesome.
ambiance.
We had an awesome
anyway,
night.
It turned a day that could have been a total loss into something that ended up being fun and profitable and
Although we did get the finger from some people because we were driving through Pittsburgh and it was like the year after the Packers beat the Steelers. I think for
Yeah.
the
Yeah, the
Super
Packers
Bowl or
molested
something.
the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we were like driving through with our Wisconsin plates, and
We
people were
did
just
get the finger.
flipping us off.
That so I was saying like shows that went wrong. We had a show that went horribly wrong in Pittsburgh a couple years earlier, and then a couple years later we had a show that went great that was completely unexpected. And that was something that completely like so we played in Philadelphia, and then we're supposed to go to New York the next night, just a couple hours away, and Cool Club Manhattan, like Darwin had played there with Droid's Attack, and he was like, dude, the place is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Darwin was the one that like gave me the connection that helped with the booking.
And then what happens is that, of course, the hurricane, and like, dude, the whole city shut down, so go home.
Yeah, there was no public transportation, so like nobody could get to work. So even if people wanted to go out,
They
like
couldn't go to the
they
show.
weren't going to be able to get there.
Right, when the subway's closed, nobody's going anywhere. But when the so just put it out, like really it was like a social media and text messages. Like, does anybody know anyone between Philadelphia and like the middle of Ohio of places that we could get to for a show? And our friend Jem, who was living in Nashville at the time,
She came through.
and then the thing is, she hooked us up with that guy, and they were on, and the band was called One Pretty Minute OPM. And funny enough, I'd say 5 years later, we're at South by Southwest watching the Texas Rock Fest, which is like this unofficial South by Southwest event that happens like right in the middle of downtown.
Yeah.
And there's just two bands playing two like, huge stages, and we're going to buy a beer in the Texas Rock Fest just to see what's going on. And One Pretty Minute's the band that was playing, and we're like, "Hey, remember you
so
from
crazy.
remember you? We traded Moose Knuckles." And just nice guys and a great band. We ended up having a wonderful night in Pittsburgh when it could have been just like a dead night. And so sometimes you have those things where you just reach out for help, and then somebody grabs your hand and brings you in. And I think that's a good, like we said before. I think that being in a band makes you probably feel better about the human race than you should. Because often when you're looking for help,
gosh.
often when you need something, and when you're in the entertainment business, you need something constantly, and you're always asking for something, and you're always asking.
Well, we even saw it just last month in Austin when the the House of Cards slowly started to crumble. People were, gigs were starting to get canceled, and we didn't really fully understand the situation and what was happening. So, we still had our plans to go, and people were doing everything they could to help book other shows.
So when South by Southwest was
it was
canceled,
just amazing.
before the governors declared house arrest for everyone in America, they were trying. Everybody's like, you know what? We can still make this work, because all those businesses were like, this is it. Like, that's our biggest week of the year. And they were, but they were also saying like, that's the biggest week of the year, and we have 1,000 bands stuck here who had routed
they
their
had
touring.
planned tours around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they were coming through, finding shows, working to keep it going, and people working together and just trying to help other people. And so that's what I mean. Like, it's an industry where you're constantly asking other people for favors and help and whatever they can do. And
you're also constantly trying to help other people too.
That's what I mean.
Because you know what it feels like.
Right. But that's so you have this thing, you have this idea of like, well, most people are good because most people have shown you the best version of themselves. A lot of people also have shown you the worst version of themselves. And
That's true. Oh,
but the thing is, I think that most of it is a really positive thing. So when we talk about the stories of like, oh, this went totally wrong. Yeah, some shit didn't go well on stage, or we lost a few bucks or something like that. But we still didn't dig ditches, and everybody probably still got drunk. So, like, even the worst tour stories are, things that don't end in crimes or whatever are usually
overwhelmingly positive, though. Like, I feel like it's being in a band and touring really is like affirming of faith in humanity,
Yeah, think about the people that tour and they just go on people's couches.
Right.
There's people who live entire lives about that.
people invite you to stay in their home that like, oh, we'll make breakfast for you and all this stuff. And it's like, we could kill you in our sleep, in your sleep. Like you don't know us at all. Like we might be horrible people. We're not, thankfully.
Like I'm the kind of guy who would kill you in your sleep.
They just met us, and I'm like, you're offering for us to come into your home, and then sharing all your food, and it's just like, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. People are so good to have been so good to us. So we appreciate that.
And we'll tell more some tour stories next week. We'll have more music next week and all that kind of stuff. But
if you have requests, if there's certain songs you want to see us attempt to perform with
that's a great idea.
The tools that we have here in our respective quarantines.
Please put a request on our Facebook page, or you can send it to sunspotmusic.com, sunspot@sunspotmusic.com. You can send it to us. But if you have a request, and especially if you're a Patreon, we will do your request. Even if it's hard, we'll do it.
Right.
But the thing is that I think is important is I think one thing that even though we have plenty of bad tour stories and crazy tour stories, I would say that the biggest thing I've learned that we've been a band since 1996 altogether, so in 24 years, in a third of a lifetime, is probably that most people are good and have your best interest in mind. And so, obviously when things are good, it's easier to get that out of them. But I'd say when you need help, there's usually a hand to grab. And so that's been a really nice thing to learn about humanity.
Yeah. I would add to that too, that just approaching things with a good attitude and just being nice to people really goes a long way. Because you have the choice. Like if somebody's being difficult, you deal with people who are you deal with surly sound guys all the time, and just every kind of possible situation. You deal with people that are not in a good mood a lot, and if you're able to just kind of stay calm,
yes,
and be nice, it always tends to make things go more smoothly.
Sharon says, you guys pay it back though too. I went to Madison to see you with no plan of where to stay once, and I ended up on Mike's couch. Well,
I remember that.
Right. And
of course, Sharon, we're going to take care of you. Come on.
That, and Ben and I specifically bought a house that was a house where people could crash. For that specific kind of thing, because our lifestyle at the time led to, you wanted people to stay over. You wanted a big place where we could have band practice, all those kind of things. And, we wanted to make sure that if people are, especially great supporters and awesome people like you, Sharon, need a place to stay, that we could help you out. So, all right, before we go, and here's another bit of good news. Jimmy says things are getting better at Walmart now.
Oh, that's great.
Fantastic.
Glad to hear that. Yeah.
So I hope that everybody...
got to keep those essential workers safe and be nice to them.
Fucking crazy.
I know you guys are, because you're nice people. I don't need to tell you anything. But.
All right. Steve Coomer from Mukwonago High School says, I like my house arrest only if they snap on the handcuffs. Steve's watching from the watch party. Good to see you, Steve. Steve, he's the only person I've ever met with natural perfect pitch.
Lucky dude.
Yeah. So he could just and we tested him a few times on it too, in choir. We'd be like, all right, Steve, let's see what you got. And then he could he knocked it out with the piano, all right, well, he's got it. But Steve had perfect pitch. He lives in Minneapolis or the Twin Cities area. And so hope that he's doing well. And hope that everybody out there is doing well. All right. So it will be a See You on the Other Side live stream on Sunday at 2 p.m. And we'll do some more live streaming next week. And looks like in Wisconsin, they've got us under house arrest until May 26th. So I've obviously have my ankle bracelet on for the next month. And we're going to be here next Thursday night doing the same kind of thing for you. And if we have any bonus stuff during the week, we will let you know. If you're on the Sunspot email list, sunspotuniverse.com. If you're not on the Sunspot email list, what are you doing with your life? Thank you to our new Patreons, Terry and Abigail.
Yes, thank
you to all of our
you.
Patreons, like who are here tonight, like Lisa and
You're
Mark
wonderful.
and Joe and Bart and
Stu.
Stu.
Yes.
And if I missed
Joe.
you, I will give you a special shout out in the Patreon Sunspot group. So hope you guys do well. Good luck to you, because this is a weird time through all the shit. What?
Oh, I thought Ben was raising a finger like he
raising,
wanted to talk.
He's raising out the deal Malocchio. The rock fist. The rock fist. And you know, the thing is, everybody knows the story of the rock horns if they subscribe to our email list. But either way, you guys have a great night and good luck to you. We all need all the luck we can get right now, okay? So best wishes and keep looking up.